Hi guys. So I'm supposed to play one of my patrons, Alex, but he's running a little late, I guess. So while we wait for Alex, oh, there he is. There he is. I will challenge him, or maybe we should let him challenge me so that he can decide what time limit he wants, because we haven't actually decided on that. I guess I'll just challenge him to a 15-minute game, and then we can just take a quick chat about his preferences. Alright, so this is Alex. He's one of my patrons. Hi Alex. Hi everybody watching. We're just going to have a session here where we play some games and relax with some nice chess. And I have no idea how strong Alex is, because of course I tried to research him, because that's what you're supposed to do if you want to win. So he had provided his username, and I looked up and I looked at some of his games. But he played all his games more than 2 years ago on this account, so he could be way stronger, or he could play way different openings. So luckily for me, he played d4 and c4, and here I have the Budapest defense prepared. This is one of the openings for black that I know the best, I'd say. It's a really aggressive opening, and it's very easy for white to go wrong if they don't know what's going on. And you can see already user is into, which is Alex's username, has made a slight mistake. You are supposed to capture this pawn, because if you don't, I will be able to kick the knight like this. And it is already protected by the knight. So even if he goes to g5, trying to attack it, well, I will not have to waste a tempo trying to awkwardly defend the pawn, as it is already defended. So already on move 3, I believe I stand a little bit better than my opponent. And here I have a very, very interesting option. I can actually push this pawn further, attacking the knight. And the obvious move, of course, is to capture the pawn. It's free in a way, but it opens up this diagonal. Oh, just a second. Alright, sorry, I realized that I wasn't recording the cursor, so you couldn't see where I was pointing. Okay, so I could push this pawn forward, and he would capture like this, probably opening up this diagonal towards his king, and also making it sort of uncomfortable for him to develop his center. Like this bishop would have a hard time coming out. So I am trying this out. It may not be completely correct, but we will try this. And now we will attack the pawn, also opening up the queen to come in with this check. The check does not work quite yet because he has this move to block the check effectively, but alternatively the queen can come here, trying to checkmate here. And now it's interesting because the white queen is almost getting checkmated. If I go here, he only has this and square and this square, so he is under some significant pressure. Now, how to proceed the attack? One thing I would like to do would be to go here. The problem though is that he has a good defense. Here I'm threatening checkmate and also threatening this pawn. But he can move his knight here, blocking the queen's path to the dangerous f2 square, while simultaneously protecting this pawn with his queen. So let's try something else. I will put this bishop here, and the idea is that if he does not block this diagonal now, for instance, or my access to that diagonal, for instance, he can play this move, which I kind of missed, and that's a pretty good move. I think it basically gives him the advantage back. But if he doesn't play that move, I will come in here with a check, and that's winning. So let's see if he okay, he didn't find that move. So now you see this check is going to be checkmate, and I will sacrifice my queen here so that I can checkmate with the bishop. And I could of course have sacrificed the bishop instead, but it feels better to sacrifice the queen. Alright, so this is the Dutch defense, and I know this helped an attack, and basically I am trying to basically use the same idea, that when he opens up a diagonal towards his king, he will be vulnerable. So here he has to find a way to block this diagonal, and I am not completely sure. I mean, what he plays here is a real opening. this is the correct defense, but I think maybe you are supposed to capture with the e pawn here. Not sure, because yeah. So now I have checkmate in one move. All right. So he's writing. I'm feeling the pressure. I feel like I'm making more dumb moves than usual. I'm writing. Just relax. We are just having fun. You have all the time in the world. Do you like typing sound, guys? Because there's some typing sound here. Okay. So, game 3, trying out for the Budapest defense again. And wisely, this, guys, take note of what Alex is doing here. He is deviating from the opening that he tried out first, because he recognized that I had something prepared that he did not know enough about to challenge me in. Therefore, he plays a suboptimal move, but a safe move, which is far better, because even though c3 is a bit unambitious in this position, it's perfectly fine. He has no risk associated with this move, and now he can get a game where he's not on the back foot from the very beginning. So learning from game to game is a key aspect of growing as a chess player. Alright, in this position Alex is taking a lot of control over the center, so I have to be a little humble. Okay, wow, he's really aggressive and playing really well here. This setup is very good. He has a lot of control over the center. His bishops are active and doing really good work. And I have no real way to just attack him all out like I did in the other games, because he has developed his pieces and he has taken control of the center. And soon he will be able to castle as well. So instead of going for the king as I did in the first 2 games, I will counterattack in the center so that he is not having all the fun, but that saying I want to share the fun. So now I want to probably capture this pawn, develop this knight to c6, adding some extra pleasure and pressure to the center. This sentence could seem offensive, but it's not. It just means that the game has ended. Partie is Danish for a game of chess, and slut means has ended. So this means the game has ended, and not something so with this move I seem to have put our opponent under some pressure, and he decides to advance the pawn. I think this is a pretty good way of going about things. He does block his own bishop in a little bit, so I'm not feeling the pressure on the f7 pawn as much. But he is all up in my face here with a lot more control over the board than I have. I think I will try to... No, I actually like his bishop on this diagonal because it's sort of trapped. So what I will do, I think, is just I'll try to develop this knight and see if I can get maybe this knight over here, and he allows it, and then I want to put this knight probably here, or if he tries to kick this knight, then this knight here, and then exchange some pieces in the center. Alright, and Alex castles. So yeah, I'll try to exchange some of these pieces so that I'm not as cramped. And here I have an interesting option of capturing this bishop. I could also capture here with a check. He would recapture probably with his other knight. Then when I go back here, he can give me doubled pawns. So I think I'll just capture here. And then I guess he'd do something like that. And his position is annoyingly good here. I think I actually need to push this knight away because he's getting a lot of control over the e5 square with the bishop and both knights supporting this pawn push, and I am not sure I want to allow that. So if he captures my knight, I will capture his knight. If he captures here, I will capture here. He captures my knight, and I capture his bishop. Oh, I capture his pawn with the bishop. And in all of those variations, we are equal on material. So I don't see a way for him to win material. And I am kind of holding him back from pushing the pawn here, although not really. But he has to take like a moment to find out what he wants to do about the bishop attacking here. So I'm banking on that. So it seems that Alex has stepped up his game several orders of magnitude after getting the nerves under control in the first two games. And yeah, it's Alex. I have talked to him about recording these games, and he was cool with that. But well, I guess when when you know that a couple thousand people will watch your game, then and you're new to that whole idea, then it's natural to have a little bit of nerves, but it's natural, but there's no need for it because we are all just here. We are all friends here, and we are not here to really compete or to dominate anybody or anything like that. We are just here to relax and have a good time and enjoy some good old chess. And I'm trying to evaluate if black or white stands better in this position. And it's not exactly clear to me. Now I think I will put this bishop here. So that his knight is now in an unpleasant pin, which should also deter him from pushing this pawn. And also there's no real good way, not a fast one at least, to get the queen out of the pin. Because if she moves, I will probably capture the knight, giving him sort of an open king. And he may not want that. He may not want that. On the other hand, when he captures here, he will be able to move the bishop and then push the pawns. And then all those pawns just coming down like space invaders towards my king. It's a double-edged sword. But of course I don't have to pull the trigger on this bishop right away. So let's see. His pawn here could be subject to attack. Could put the queen here. Could put the rook here. It's easily defended, of course, but I mean, I could have a plan with something like rook here, and if he defends if he defends with the chess software is acting weird. If he defends like this, I could put my queen here, putting a bit of pressure on this pawn. He would then maybe move that one square forward, and then I would retreat my queen, and then he wouldn't have support when this is moved up here. He wouldn't have support for this guy moving, and then this square here on b3 would be forever weak. Not forever alone, just forever weak. So actually his pawn structure over here, even though I have these doubled pawns, okay, he is going for that. Okay, let me finish my thought first. Even though I have these double pawns, which is traditionally considered a weakness, they are doing a pretty good job at holding back his pawn majority over here, and yeah, and I'm actually pretty happy about that whole thing. Now, about his advance of this pawn, that looks like a mistake to me, because since this knight is pinned, it is only protected once, and it is attacked twice by the knight and the pawn. So I think I will call his bluff and capture. And let's see what's going on. Was this a mistake, or does he have a plan here? So, and I mean, if he doesn't have a plan, then I do have a plan. My plan is I will attack the pinned piece, okay? Can attack, capture the queen. So, all right. He said, whoops, that was dumb. And I mean, it's not dumb. Like, he's rated 900, almost 1,000. And when you have that rating, this is the type of errors you make sometimes. And I mean, I am rated higher and I make less mistakes, but I also make these kinds of mistakes from time to time. And that's just, you know, I don't think we should be too self-conscious about whether or not we play perfectly or not. Okay, he is attacking this pawn. And I think I will capture the knight, because that's the only piece that can really realistically get to this pawn. And then I will try to get my queen out. So my position is obviously much better now, because we have the same pieces, except he has a bishop and I have a queen, which can move like a bishop but also like a rook. So that's better. The game is not over though, and I need to find a way to end this game. The thing is that I could try to maybe make some sort of fancy attack, but fancy attacks can sometimes backfire, and instead I'd like to just try and simplify the position and just make it impossible for him to ever win, and because then I will be playing risk-free. And now I am getting a very, very significant advantage. And here I could even just capture the rook, because he would then be left with only a bishop against the two rooks, which would be sort of impossible for him to it would be impossible for him to win. But I mean, giving up your queen for a rook, even though it is winning, is obviously not the best move. If I was playing somebody where it was extremely important that I would win, I think I would actually just have captured the rook, because in that scenario I don't have to think almost, because it would be almost logically impossible for white to win. In this position I can, principle make a series of moves that are so bad that I would lose. It is getting very difficult for Alex now. And I think checkmate will follow shortly. So if I play this, he will go. I will first take away this square so that now this move is very close to checkmate. I will also, okay. So, what is the quickest checkmate from this position? Oh, he just resigns. That's okay. I think that I have now learned about my opponent's strength, and in order to get sort of a different game, I will give myself a small handicap, which is that I will not capture any of his pieces for the first 10 moves. And this may sound like a huge handicap, and it would be if he knew that was what I was doing, but obviously he does not know that. So in reality it's not a very big handicap. In reality it just means that we will get 10 moves into the game before any side really can start attacking. And I'm not doing this sort of to flex or anything. I'm just doing this to get a game that looks different from the other ones that we've been playing. So I have one more move to make before I have reached move 10. So yeah. His openings in this game and the last game. Oh, this opening is a little bit like the binaural opening, except the two knights would be here. The real name for the binaural opening is the hippo. And do you guys know Flight of the Conchords? They have they're like the second most popular folk parody band in New Zealand. The most popular folk parody band in New Zealand is Like of the Conchords, which is a tribute band that just happened to do their own songs, or do Flight of the Conchords songs just a little more popular than them. Well, they have their alter egos, their hip-hop alter egos, the hip-hop hippopotamus and the rhyme rhinoceros. I just think that's hilarious. Anyways, about this game, I think both sides, I think this position is pretty equal. Maybe I like black a little better, but no, it's just completely equal. I think my plan involves this C file, I want to open this C file up, maybe taking here, waiting for him to capture on C, and put some rooks here, and put some pressure down this file. So yeah. These kinds of positions are some of the hardest ones to play. Not because they are super complicated tactically, but because they are not tactical at all. Almost, of course. Every position is tactical to some degree, but there are no immediate things that spring to mind. So then you have to do something more advanced. You have to develop plans, and plans in chess can be really hard. Fortunately, we have a wealth of knowledge for like at least 500 years of people playing chess and writing down their ideas and philosophies and thoughts. And right now I was just attacking the queen, trying to get my knight to a more aggressive square, but then immediately I understand that it was of little value, because he just moved his queen and I didn't really get anything. His queen is pretty active here, supporting the center, and because the position is so closed, the queen is not really a major factor quite yet. She can become a major factor quickly, of course, but my idea of just attacking her was just a one-move threat that was easily dealt with by my opponent, and I gotta say that he's playing well above his rating for in the opening stage of the game, in these two games, this one and the last one. I have gotten no significant advantage that I can see, and I have to sort of just wait to see if he will mess up somehow. I think that was a small mistake on his part, because I can capture that one, and then I can develop my bishop here, and then I have one a pawn. And I think basically what's happening here, it's the same that happened in the last game. My opponent plays almost perfectly, or at least, perfect to our level, without any major mistakes at all, throughout the entire opening phase. Then we get a sort of dead equal position, and he doesn't know what to do. And then he forces something in the position. And that's one of the hardest things to do in chess, is to know what to do when there is nothing to do. Should I put this knight in here? So the idea is that I'm attacking the queen. The knight cannot capture because it's pinned. And I will then win this knight, I think, because when the queen moves, I will capture like this. He will capture the rook down here, probably. And I will maybe just capture his rook. Okay, he moves his rook. So I am now up in material, but I have no access points. So I will try to make some. I will move this knight out of the way, and then you can kind of see my plan from earlier with the rook and the queen sort of exercising some degree of control over this c-file, which is a pretty common theme in many variations of this of these d4 c4 systems. So let's just see what has happened here. I develop. Okay. He goes in with the knight. Well, he's not taking the rook, but I think I will move the rook because I mean, he could have captured that and gotten some material back. My position is really good. I could have done this earlier with this fork, and I must have lost track. Oh, okay. It's only when he moves the knight, because obviously the knight was defending it. So I move here, and now I can go here with the fork. And I am now up so much material that I will try to exchange the queens and simplify to something that's pretty easy to win, hopefully, because I do not want the queens on the board with, like, I am up +6 points, so I do not want him to have counterplay, so that if I make some mistake he will go bam, checkmate, and the queen is absolutely the best piece for surprise checkmating attacks. So I will go here, offer the trade of queens, and his only real defense is to go back to d8, I think, and then no, I can just capture that now. That must have been a mouse slip. I'm pretty sure that he would have wanted to capture my queen and not this queen. Because I mean, capturing my queen is just a trade, and I'll ask if it was a mouse slip. Because now, can I give him a take back? Is that a thing? Is that possible? I can't really see a button offering takebacks. He is attacking the knight, so I'd better attack the rook so he doesn't have time to capture the knight. Also, maybe he would say, okay, but I'm attacking your next rook so I can take that. But no, you can't, because I will capture with check, and you have to respect a check. So, yeah, I think the basic lesson you guys will learn from this is that if you're at this level, Yeah. Yeah, he's saying he made a tactical error that he thought that, well, if we are going to trade queens, I'm going to first take a bishop, without realizing that I wouldn't be able to take back. And so I'll say, yeah, classic type of mistake when over complicating things. You can miss the easy stuff. So now I'll capture with a check. Okay, so basically what I was saying, if you're about this level, about 800 to maybe 1100 range, and you, like Alex, you know how to play your opening, you can develop your pieces, you can see, okay, my opponent is stronger in this opening than I am, so I will change a little bit, and you have like these understandings of the meta game. Then if you meet somebody that just plays into a sort of dead position, then do not try to force your will onto the position, because with action there comes an opposing reaction, and if your action does not have the exact amount of force needed in the position, then the reaction will give you sort of a whiplash effect. That's what we have seen here. Rather, it's better to just sit on your hands and not really do anything than to force your will on the position and maybe make big mistakes. Because like you developed all your pieces, like almost all the pieces are still on the board, and just a slight error can cost you dearly. And I mean, who can see what's going on with every single piece? Like, who can calculate all? We are not Magnus Carlsen, we are not like Ivanchuk, we are not Kasparov, like we don't see everything. So let's try and make it easy for ourselves. If you don't see like a really good plan, then just find the piece you have that does the least and just see if you can find a way to improve that, even just a little bit. Just keep quiet, keep calm, Also, sometimes it can be good to let your opponent show their hand, like if it was poker, Okay, you raise a little bit with this move, I just call. I'm not going to re-raise, I just call. If your opponent checks, well, then you can check. I don't know if you know the poker terminology here, but if he checks, then you can check, and then he throws a check. Well, in poker, checking is just saying, okay, I'm not going to bet anything here, but allowing your opponent to also not bet anything. Not sure what the quickest checkmate is here. I think I'm getting pretty close here. So he has to capture my pawn. It's the only move. And then, okay, of course you can always just resign. Okay. So let's see if he remembers not to play c5. He does c4. He does not. Maybe he has opened up a little chess book here. I would say that The move he played in the other game, c3, was far better. I am doing exactly what I did in the last game. It worked out so very well. Okay, now he is deviating a little bit. So now I cannot push this pawn forward because he can just capture with this bishop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask this knight quite politely to go over here. And you see he would like to capture here, of course, but my knight is covering that square. And I think I am better now, and I quite like this position already, and I will try to stake a claim in the center, and I could consider chopping that knight off, but I mean, he captures and maybe his rook will become good, and yeah, I don't want to give him too much counterattack for no reason. Now what I want to do maybe is to... Nah, it's not going to work. Okay. So even though I am probably better here, it's not clear to me exactly what I should do. I mean, maybe just throwing this check. I could also put the bishop here. But I think throwing this check, getting the bishop out so I can castle, and yeah, and I think I will now just fortify my position here, and then okay, here I could chop the knight off, but I think actually I'll try to go back here. He can try to chase the bishop, but since I played c6, I can, you know, if I hadn't played c6, I would have to go here, and then he could trap the bishop with this move, and I would be significantly worse. But now I can go back here because I played c6, and on here the bishop would be attacking where his king would potentially go and castle someday. So now the question sort of becomes how to develop. Oh, can you hear that? Heavy rain all of a sudden. That's nice. Okay, I will put this knight here, and it's because if he castles, I want to be able to chop this knight off, like so, to give him an open king that I can attack. And then I will go here with this bishop. It's a sort of a long-term plan, but it's because he has these pawns attacking the bishop. So if I had tried to develop my knight here, I would take away the escape square for my knight. He could then have played this. For my bishop, he could then have played this, and I would have been in trouble. So I will spend quite a lot of time here, but I do have this sort of permanent weakness to attack, and maybe I will put my queen here, threatening checkmate, or I could sort of do the more adult thing and get my knight into the attack. And he closes down wisely the bishop. Should I insist on this bishop exercising its influence by capturing en passant? It will free his pieces up. But it will also make my bishop a more relevant piece in the game. So I'm going to do that. But now his position is also quite a bit better. I will develop the knight, try to get over here and get into the structure. The knight will be good on this square. He can of course prevent it from coming there with h4. Okay, yeah, that's a good move. That's a good move, I think. At least I think so. Oh no, he missed something. He missed something, which is that I can capture here, and that crucially is check. And now I'm winning a piece, I think, because then I take here. But this was a pretty good game. Well, it's still a pretty good game, but I was going for the jugular from my first move. I didn't handicap myself in any way, and it's first here at move 16 that I get any sort of real advantage, I feel. But that advantage that I do get is quite significant. So I capture like this, and I am now up a pawn and a piece. And I don't think that there is a way for him to punish the sort of precarious, or just a little bit precarious placement of my queen that's not defended and stuff. And I think actually I'm just winning another piece here, because this is check, and then I capture like this. And I'm just winning here. I have so much material. And again, actually, it's the exact same thing that my esteemed opponent, only he was first worse when he pushed a pawn, drastically changing the dynamics of the position. When he got impatient and felt maybe he was like, I have to attack, I have to do something, and then the mistake happened. Up till that point, the game up until move 17 or 16 or something, game was completely equal and I had no serious advantage. And then he tries to force his will on the position, and then all the pieces just start to fall, and then we also see sort of a ripple effect, and that happens to me all the time. When I play a move that is punished, I overlooked something or whatever, then basically it's the same thing. Like if you stub your toe and then you get real sort of angry, and then you make a mistake immediately following that. Like maybe you hit the wall and then now also your hand is hurt. I do that all the time, and I try to just remind myself, okay, if you made a mistake, then like the 2 minutes after making a mistake, that's where it gets dangerous, because your risk of making a larger mistake in those 2 minutes, the risk is increased 10 times or something like that. All right, so I will just follow my usual pattern here and try to try to make it impossible for me to lose this game by basically getting the rooks traded off, because that's the piece he can really checkmate me with, and he has no sort of pawns that are dangerous because he has no passed pawns. And I mean, I'm really happy to play these games. That's a whole different thing, but I'd like to say that, you know, and I mean, I love playing chess. So playing games like this is just absolutely awesome. Okay. Capture that. So it's like, it's just a win. I mean, it's cool for me. I get to play Alex, and Alex expressed interest in doing this. It was his idea, so it's cool for him too. It's cool for you guys because it's content. It's ASMR content, and so he says he has to go soon. Last game. And here so it's just, I hope we're all having a good time. Probably Alex would have a slightly better time if he was winning some more games, but chess is one of those games that if you play somebody who is more experienced than you, then it can be extremely hard to get anywhere. I've experienced that myself many times. I've been playing like really experienced players, and it's just like, sometimes it just feels like running headfirst into a wall, trying to make the wall fall over, and the wall does not fall over. It doesn't budge. It doesn't move at all. Yeah. So the position is symmetrical, if you notice, but there is one key difference, which is this bishop here that is outside the pawn chain. By pawn chain I mean these pawns here, so the bishop is not inhibited. And usually you would say that's a pretty big advantage, because this bishop is significantly better than this bishop that is behind the pawns. But in this particular opening, this bishop is not as good as it looks. For instance, you could pretty quickly, in some variations, put the knight here and actually exchange the bishop, and let's see if I can go for something a bit flashy. So I'm giving up this pawn, but if he captures the pawn, then I will put the rook here, and the attack will be quite devastating, I feel, because this bishop attacking the king, this bishop attacking the king, this knight can jump in very fast, and this bishop could also, or this queen I mean, could also get in here. So I think, okay, so already I am winning the exchange, because here he has to play, he cannot capture because the rook, and so he has to play this. He has to move his pawn one square forward, and then I will capture his rook. And so that was well worth the investment of one measly pawn, I would say. Also because after capturing the rook, my attack is still going on. I am still coming for him. I will maybe play the other. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So what Alex may have, I know what he should have done though, that I missed. That would have been a really nice move. Go here with the knight, protecting the pawn, and that would have been real nice. I would have some attack going, but I think this would have been a really clever defense. Now, after this move, I feel I can of course capture with the rook. That would be check, but he would move the king, and then I wouldn't have anything really. But I capture with the bishop. Now the king can't move, and when I move the bishop, let's say I capture the knight, he cannot recapture the bishop because his king will be in check from the rook, and he will have to do something about it. Actually, he couldn't do something about it in this particular position because it would be checkmate, because he can't stop. Okay, well, he could put the bishop in between first. Okay, so check. And now by moving the rook, he gives his king a square here. But I have this windmill attack that I can do. I check him, he has to go back. Then I capture here. He has to go back. And I throw this check. That is a strong bishop. He says it's a strong bishop. Well, I agree. That's a pretty strong bishop. So I need to find a way to quickly get my queen involved so we can end the game. It's a strong bishop. It's been doing push-ups all day for a year. All day, every day for a year. Okay, how do I get my queen involved? Something says, just capture that. Check, he captures. Then maybe check. But no, I think I'll just go here, because if he captures, I can do the windmill thing again, and now I can come here with the queen. I can even capture here first, because when we capture, then queen coming there will be checkmate. So will he resign, or will he allow me to make some sort of flashy finish to this? Can I I think I can just ignore this knight and capture here, because I think this is checkmate. So he goes back, and is there... no, there's not a flashy checkmate, there's only the simple one, which is here. So, was he a good sportsman? Absolutely. And thank you for the games, my friend. Video will go up tomorrow, and I have edited it. So yeah, yeah, he says thank you. I say my pleasure. Peace. So that's it for this video, I think. Yeah, tell me in the comments if you like this sort of video. I am going to do probably many more. There's another guy, another patron, John, who also expressed interest in doing something like this, and yeah, it's just perfect for me because it's a win-win-win-win-win to me. So that's how I see it, and yeah, that's the game. That's the video. Thanks for